Hello, my name is Tom Pagacz, and in this video I will show you my point of view how to handle approvals coming from different source systems to Teams approval. Okay, the whole solution is already prepared, so you can go to my GitHub repo and easily download it. So let's have a look on how it is structured. Everything is based on Cloudflows. And we have also 3 environment variables. So in order to simulate approvals coming from sample service, we have this flow. Let's have a look on this. This one is manually triggered. We need only a few inputs for this, so it's not quite big. This get secret is later used to restrict signals from post requests, so the router flow will be able to receive only a request coming from this particular flow. Of course, you can secure it in different ways, but for this solution I use this one. So in GitHub repo there is a screenshot of the trigger condition. So for the router flow, I have a trigger condition that header secret needs to be equal to my secret value. Nothing very complicated, but of course you can get rid of this if you like. Here in the body, it's my proposition how to structure the incoming informations. So of course variables will be from your source system, but in here you will be able to see the structure. Of this request. So let's get back to flows and have a look on approval router flow. This one will do the work. So every time when the HTTP request is received from any possible source, because the endpoint is one for this router, we need to initialize some variables. Then we will be using later on the same trick with key vault secret. Here in this condition there is a normalization of emails who will be our approver. This needs to be normalized. Then as well, if we are using tags, this also need to be simply normalized. And the switch over Teams approval model, it's nothing more than only choosing the option if approval type should be approve reject, everyone must approve, or a different case, because it's possible to have approve reject, everyone must approve first to respond, or custom responses, the same configuration. So for the only approve reject there is no options, but in case that we want to deliver our own response options, it is also possible with this response options array. So instead of having only approve reject, we can deliver to the approver whatever the source system will need, basically. If you already have in your environment approval solution, this table will be accessible. But if in case you don't have approval solution, if it's not installed in your environment, I encourage you to read this information on Microsoft site, how to do this. So you need to simply use this feature within Teams. So you need to initialize at least one approval, Teams approval, within this environment, because if we go to approvals app in Teams, by default, your default environment will be selected, but I developed this in my developer environment, so approvals will be different in here. And then I export this to Sandbox, so I need to have this solution also installed in Sandbox. So if this solution is not installed in your environment, if you will import this solution, you will see the error because there will be no table called approvals in your environment. So this is a part of solution of default approvals in Teams. So we can adjust information in this table to later reuse them in different way. For example, so we can restrict cancellation. We can add category to then filter based on this category. We can set our due date and many other possibilities. Then there is a fun part because actually it is possible to put something in between of your original adaptive card, because if you create an approval, the possible output of this approval, it's adaptive card generated by this create an approval action. So you can use it to send to the user, but what's the point in sending the original one when you can adjust it to your needs and pass many different informations that are not present? So you can go step by step. It is of course possible to make it happen in one action even, but in order to keep it simple and show you how it should be structured, I am using the many actions, so you will be able to assess on your own how everything is working step by step. In this compose action, we are actually adding our variables we want to pass to the user within adaptive cards. Then there is a concatenation, and we are reusing actually the same variable to not produce more variables. Then we are posting this adaptive card in chat with Flowbot. So in chat, you should be able to spot this chat with the bot. And then we are waiting for outcome of this approval. If this happens, we are sending output to the source system, or informing our application owner that scenario is missing, and simple error handler that if all of the above will fail, we are sending also information to our approver, to every of our approver, that we couldn't complete it within this router, so you need to go to the original. There is, of course, a lot of missing parts, like multiple things in here can possibly crash, so it is not bulletproof. But it is a solid base to start building this type of solution on top of this flow. So later, in order to be able to complete this flow, we have this flow which is able to receive information from the previous one. This one is also restricted to handle only information from the previous flow. And starter pack for the daily check. So it is possible that approval will be done not in Teams, but in original system. So in relation to this particular system, you need to create a daily check routine to find out if this particular approval was made in original system. So let's have a look on the sandbox environment, and let's trigger this solution to see how this one is working. So let's run trigger from this test system. We can run the flow and see how it's going. Okay, I already hear that Teams receive this approval. So let's get back to our approval router flow. This one should receive, yes, 26 seconds ago it received the approval from our test system. All of this is working, normalization, update of information in approvals table, then all of this slicing, cutting, and concatenation. Then we send this approval card you already spot in Teams, and then we are simply waiting for this approval to be done. So let's open this approval. This approval is waiting in received section of approvals. It is also waiting in Teams as adaptive card in a chat with both. So here you have, until this information, everything is by default in this adaptive card, and as well this bottom part, test details and those buttons. What we added in the flow is those 5 informations. So we can approve or reject from this adaptive card. There is also information in activity feed, prompting us with original approval. The same exists in approvals app in our environment. So this one is requested right after noon. Yes. In here, so we also are able to use it. And in Outlook, we also received this information. So this approval card, approval adaptive card, is actually the original one without all these informations that we passed in here into the Teams. So using variables within the body of the request, you are able to restrict few of these possibilities. To not send the information to via email or without sending notification on Teams. It's everything up to you. So let's approve this via adaptive card in the chat with Power Automate. We can approve it. No comment. Submit. And this card, of course, will be updated with output of our approval. Original approval also should be updated. Let's go to the sandbox environment. Yes, our approval is updated. Let's check out on approvals. This one is no longer active. Our flow succeeded. So flow handle this feedback from approver in the action wait for an approval. We know that answer is approve, and comment for this is no comment. So we can reuse all of these informations to send them in a structured way back to our source system, and of course error handler will take care of the rest if so. So all of this is updated, and as well this card in Microsoft Outlook will also be updated. So that's all. Everything what you need to do in order to import this solution is described in GitHub README. So the basic thing is that you need to save the flows to reuse the URL generated in environment variables. Everything is described in here. And also a few other additional informations. So thank you for watching the video. I hope you enjoy. Maybe this one will help you in the future. So have a great day.